Semprini, Semprini Arts. Thanks for joining us. Today, I just finished this painting behind me. It's called Jigsaw. And I did a digital painting that I liked a lot. And I said, I'm going to redo this with regular paint and canvas. So wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. The digital one, you could erase colors and move things around and kind of do things with no fuss, no muss. With paint, once you put it down, it's down. So, you do your best to capture the other likeness, but it's not as easy. Anyway, I did it in lieu of what the name is, Jigsaw, because it kind of has individual parts that we're going to make a puzzle out of for our website and sell them. And, you could do one color at a time. My mom, when she was a senior citizen, she's going to be 102 next week, 102 years old. She used to love puzzles. So that too in mind, I said, well, you could do a color at a time and easy recognizable parts. So it's not that difficult, even though it's kind of modern and crazy. You could pick an orange and do that part, and blue and yellow and so on. So that was kind of the impetus behind the whole painting. And since I had already done it digital, I said, geez, that would make a good puzzle. So it's, modern and bright. And I put some new effect in. I used some glitter glue surrounding the different colors in a gold vein going through the middle, which should also kind of separate, parts of the painting, like you could do up to the gold line, or there's an orange line, and some of the colors, purple is surrounded with glitter glue, and the clouds on the top, there's a couple of silver clouds on the top that have silver glitter glue on them, and so on, and green, purple, and what other color? Blue. So it adds a nice effect. So you can't kind of pick it up at this distance, but when you go close, you could see it very clearly. And it's cool. It's a new something I hadn't used before. My sister loves glitter glue, so she when she mails a letter, it's all full of glitter glue and colors, stars and moons and things.
It's interesting that you mention your 102-year-old mother being a motivation on this, because I think you also talked to me about the fact that it was so youthful. This could be hung in a child's room, and
I think it's very, it's very playful, for Children's Hospital, the cancer hospital. I'm going to City of Hope tomorrow for my cancer checkup. And there's young kids in there, and you'd be surprised that, something cheerful and colorful that, they could play and try and figure out what it is, or do the puzzle. A lot of kids, are in the hospital and might want to do a puzzle. So a lot of different coordinated things behind, why I did this.
Talk to me about how you were feeling when you did it.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's work. I mean, it was very humid when I was doing it, and I finished it faster than the last one. But I have some free times, at certain hours of the day, and I do a little bit. But it's very happy. Put on some jazz music, but it's rigorous. Paint is very easy or hard to control depending on what you're doing. The colors, may not be the same as what you had in mind when you put it down. And so, you say, well, I thought that would look good there, but it may or may not look next to another color. So I feel pretty good, you can't overdo it, and I said, let me put a little more purple around that one yesterday. And I said, I'm starting to do too much. So you kind of have to know when to stop. So I'm ready to do another one. And I already got a couple in my mind. I laid out some things yesterday for my next one. So, might as well keep moving.
Yeah, I really love it. Do you fill in all the black first?
Well, I made kind of a mistake. To tell you the truth, there's another painting underneath it that I bought some canvases that had, paint on them, but they were really reasonable and they were done well for hanging and whatever, all wood backed and whatever. So, and I tell you the truth, I failed to do a overlay or coat it before I started, and some of the colors were showing through. So the black was easy, that covered up, and I followed the digital painting. Wherever it was black, I did black. Wherever it was, for the most part.
It was funny, while we were doing this, your phone rang. And what it made me think about is, when you're working on the painting like this, are you zoned out? Are you like in another place?
Yeah, I mean, when you're creating, you're one with the creator. It's the easiest way to put it. The more I get out of the way, the better it comes. And it's not like you're pretty high in sense you put on some jazz and you're out of the day-to-day things until the phone rings or what have you, if you forget to shut it off. And I got a million other things going on. So I follow the markets every day, and I still trade every day. So that takes up a few hours in the morning, and that's been very rigorous lately. But to answer your question, yeah, the more you get out of the way, the better things come. The more you like put extra stuff or you put you into it, it comes worse. That's just my feeling. Like yesterday, I'm putting some extra purple, and then after I go, maybe you did too much. But it looks okay. But I'm very critical. Somebody else wouldn't even know the difference. But this one came, very nice. And I like doing. I haven't done a digital one, lately. I need to do some more because it's good for doing ideas, because you could change things and rearrange them and change the colors and shapes and whatever. Doesn't mean you'd be able to paint it, because they have different textures and different brush sizes that are different, zigzagged, and a lot of what they call textures, like night stuff, and there's outer space kind of shapes and sizes and zigzags and whatever. Doesn't mean you'll be able to paint those as easily. Overlay, okay? It's very three-dimensional is hard. This isn't really overlay. These are kind of matching, and then you do another shape and another color and another shape. Whereas overlaying, it's three-dimensional, and you have to, be able to see through the other layer. You follow me? This paint is very dense, so you wouldn't be able to overlay that easy. You could do one over the other, but you're not gonna be see the underlying shapes, is what I'm saying, so easily.
Well, tell me, just reinforce what the materials are on this one.
This is regular canvas, some latex paint, like regular house type paints, and then all acrylic, and then you have glitter glue. So, three different. The latex are very easy. There's gray there that came out very well. It was in the other paint, the digital painting. I had gray, and I wasn't sure that it would look that great, but it covered up very nicely. It was mainly around the edges and some in the middle. The rest, I bought some new colors. I didn't do any of the black light ones because they're very thin. You can kind of see the canvas underneath it. They're very translucent, is the word. And now they would be good if you did all translucent stuff. You could layer on top of the other. I don't know how they'd look, but you could do that type of effect. But these are pretty solid colors, easy to blend. and match what you want to do. But they're hard. You have to do 2 and 3 coats still to get the color to look good. Sometimes not. It's strange. You think lighter colors actually cover more than the darker colors. It's weird. Like the yellows, you paint once, or light green, and I guess the pigments, whatever's in them, they just cover better. The gray and some of the lighter gray, I had to do over again, and some of the orange and stuff I had to paint 2-3 times because they show the brush strokes and stuff. So it's time consuming.
Yeah. I noticed that your signature is when I'm looking at the painting, it's in the lower left corner. Is that where you always sign your paintings, or does it?
It depends on if you could see the signature well. Usually, if there's a color there that you could see the signature. Some I've painted on the other side just because you could recognize it against the color. On drawings, you supposedly sign in pencil because you could erase it and it's more valuable, supposedly. But I don't know if Pablo Picasso or whatever, I think they just signed whatever they had. I don't know. But that's what I've been told. But pencil wouldn't show up on this. And yeah, I have a lot of paintings I haven't signed. I just do them and then I'll sign it later. And I have to go and sign several that I haven't signed already.
Now, you mentioned that your mom did Jigsaw. Did you do them when you were young?
I never was into puzzles when I was a kid. I always hated manufactured type games and stuff. They didn't interest me. And, maybe Monopoly. That's about it. It's about the only game I liked. Of course, it doesn't money. I'm a financial advisor. So that probably makes sense. But all these kids would be playing this game and that game. And I just didn't. I was in another space. And a psychic told me that. He goes, you're definitely not exactly like other people. And I found that to be true. I don't know if I told you that story, but my mom had a knitting club and they'd meet once a week. And they had this guy, Ed Snediger, who was a pretty well-known psychic, and he came as entertainment. And there was a picture of me sitting on a counter, and he said, I need to talk to that man. And so I made an appointment, and I went to see him, and he was the only person I never had to talk to. He could read my mind, and I could read what he was saying. And he said, you're different. And I was maybe in high school. And he goes, you're like your other friends, but you're not like your other friends. He goes, you're out there. I'm taking trains going into New York City when I'm 16 and going to see all the galleries and listen to John Coltrane at the Village Vanguard. I was just different in sense of colors and excitement and that kind of thing. And I find that to be true. He says, you'll meet other people like you in the future that are more creative. Now, people are drawing, painting on walls and here, and sculptors are in lobbies. And back then, when I was a kid, there wasn't that kind of modern art anywhere. It was very bland, and they had pictures of freight trains or something in the library. So I found it to be true. I was always into modern artwork and design and color, and I thought it was, not. There's something not right. And then after I talked to him, it made me more relaxed. And he said, no, continue your drawings and everything. He goes, you're good at it and you're talented. So, and I play music too. I play flute, blues harmonica. I had a blues band. So I always loved blues, art and music. Not what I majored in. I majored in economics. So I had to pay the bills.
But when you're 16, you don't always want to be different.
No, it wasn't. I was like, I played football with everybody. I went out with the guys and, but they weren't painting and drawing and doing modern sculptures at, where they were doing the Calder artwork. I was down in the junkyard picking up pieces of stuff to weld together. So they weren't doing that, and, why am I doing this? And, and there wasn't much modern art and stuff other than Calder. If it wasn't for Calder, I wouldn't have been as attuned to that art world. But once you got plugged into it and went to New York City or the Whitney or the Guggenheim, and instead of going to the high school, go to the library or whatever as your school trip, wasn't that exciting to me. You know what I mean? It's like boring. So I had a creative element, and I was just gifted. And I realized that once I started getting into it, I realized I had a gift. Now, there's a lot of artists out there, and there's a lot of gifted art. I've been looking at all the websites and stuff. Some beautiful stuff out there that, a lot of creative people.
It's funny, when you look up Jigsaw, it says placing in an intricate or interlocking way. And so much of your art, including your sculpture and your paintings, have that. This is Jigsaw. This is one, but they all seem to have an intricate interlocking way.
Okay, if you take this painting and just look around my house, there's several sculptures, that are stabiles. There's a couple of mobiles. They all have stars and arrows and moons and little squiggly things that are painted red, white, green, turquoise, purple. If you do a show, I put all this stuff in there, most of the colors would match to a point. Okay, so there is a coordination of my styling, if you will. In the drawings have shapes, arrows, circles, squares, interlocking, all bright, colorful, so they fit together, even though they might be like, you look at one and you say, wow, that looks like a jumble of colors. They match other stuff, other artworks. If I did a big show, I'd have 100 pieces, that match as far as colors. You could see that they fit together. You know what I mean? In a sense. So that's what I guess you're supposed to do as an artist, be recognizable as Semprini. Why is he different than, another artist? Well, I do different things, but usually there's colors that match other items. Now, the pastel ones, I wouldn't say fit that category, that blend into like, there was one right here that was on the wall that's all pinks and aqua, and they're softer, more for commercial type, settings, matches the carpet or the drapes or what have you. And I've done those before where you color code it and do your styling, but it matches everything in the room. But a lot of the other stuff is coordinated to match each other, even though they're different. They have the same colors, so they don't conflict with each other. They coordinate with each other.
Perfect. Now, before we go close in on this to get some of the detail, tell me what, in a sentence or two, what you want me to take away when I look at this.
Well, part of artwork is you take away what you want to take away. And what you take away might be totally different than, what somebody else sees in there. I mean, if you look close, there's like a little salamander or whatever that, it's not a salamander, but it looks like a salamander. You might see that as that. Somebody else would say it's a prop, or they might not see it at all. So what I want is, all I do is when you look at this, and I do a little affirmation around them to bless each painting, okay, that heals people, okay? So that when they look at it, whether it's a second, a minute, or they look at it closely, it's healing, hopefully. I hope it doesn't bring out other things, but that's the whole thing behind all the art, is to, whatever my gift is as a talent, I want to give back. So whatever you get from it, hopefully it blesses and heals you too. That's the message. And you do nice bright colors, and that they're not, abusive art. I've seen some that are, people getting hung and killed and whatever. That I won't, why would somebody do that? But life is life. So I want people to get whatever they want to get out of it, and it's part of the experience. Is the experience of art. It's now you see things on TV that are moving, and the colors are. And a painting doesn't do that. You have to kind of do that in your own mind. So, you try and make it lively, colorful, so people enjoy it, hopefully. And if that's in a lobby and you go by, kind of hard to miss. It's bright. If you're waking up in the morning and you look at it and you go, wow, that's bright for the day. And that if they just catch it for a second, or that's in their office. I had paintings in my office and people would come in and go, wow, that's a real nice painting. Where'd you get it? And I go, no, that's mine. I said, I know it's yours. No, I did it. And they go, really? So, then, they'd say, well, what would you want for that? And so on. But, it was there because I like it, and I hope other people do too. Some people don't get it, and they don't get modern art. But even my caregiver is here today. Looked at this one and said, geez, I like that one best. And I got stuff all over the house. And I said, why? And she goes, because of the little glitter glue that's going through that's the first one I've done like that, just to, and I actually got that idea from another artist. There was a painting in a hospital, and it wasn't glitter glue. It was just a gold stream they put through the painting. And I went, well, that's pretty cool. And it differentiated the different colors. So that's kind of.
Well, do you mind giving us a close-up of it?
No, sure.
We can see all the detail.
Got it. And then here's blue. Now that could be a little whale or a shark. All right. If someone looks at it and, it is a jigsaw, they could say, well, I could make the shark. I could see that one. Or there's like the little salamander guy, with the green eye. And I put just 3 dots on there that look like they should go there. Now here's another blue, encompassed glitter glue. And then there's the little clouds at the top, have glitter glue circling. And then there's the gold. The gold, I would say, looks the best, Then you have the blue, and here's a red, like center of the painting that is coated in red, like a heart. Could be Africa, or it could be like South America. I know there's things you could look, and this little triangle was in my digital art painting, so I put it in there. Tried to make it as authentic as the other one. And here's another cloud up here that's circled. The gray, covered up very nicely as far as a background or a side background. And the black, like the center, you see that, the black really sets off all the other colors, and, that makes them look brighter, and you get a nice, and then down here you have 2. There's like one encompassed purple, and then a deeper purple has the glitter glue as well. And there's the green encompassed. And I like some of these shapes. I mean, I love that black shape, And then there's another kind of crazy shape there, so. And this green little thing going through the painting, that's like an overlay that came pretty good. That was in the digital painting. So does it match the rest of the painting? Not really, but it offsets the other colors. So it looks pretty cool, I think, And I mean, I got a lot of different colors, cranberries, reds, different color reds, different greens, different yellows. That yellow is different than that yellow. and that yellow. So you got 2 or 3 different color yellows, pink, going through a little curly Q on the top. Don't ask me why I put that there. So, but a lot of the shapes I really like. This gray shape here, is pretty cool. Then a little cranberry one. It's got kind of different colors in the cranberry. So it's got a lot going on, some blue that matches this bigger blue over here. So there's usually 2, like one of these, and then you go over here and you got that same color, or this color, is part of that, and so on. So the blue matches another blue, and so on. And the green here, and you go up top, you have the same color here. So it's kind of balanced. So if you're doing a puzzle, you say, well, I'm going to do, I can recognize this pink part, and you do that. And then, okay, I found this green thing, and then you could do that, and so on. So, and then others might be a little more complicated. They're smaller, but like this big orange piece, if you find a bunch of orange pieces, you should be able to do that whole orange section and then a black section, or this color green, or I put some gold in there. Always like a little gold. Put a little gold in your portfolio. So, you try and out here you got, orange seemed to be when I did the digital painting, the orange really popped out, and it did it in this painting too. So the orange and black kind of go really well together. And some of this blue, there's like a little thing in there, if you could see it, a little darker blue, I don't know, under the ocean or whatever is going on there. Some of the stuff, did it come like that part? I wasn't crazy about, but the rest I really liked. So not all of it is 100% what comes out what you want, because colors dry different than the way you put them on. But I wasn't going to put this copper vein, and then I said, you know what? It goes all the way through down the bottom, and then it goes all the way up through the painting. Whoops, and out the back. And it shines. When they sparkle, when you move from right to left or left to right or different colors during the day, those sparkle. Like this sparkles quite a bit. The red, not so much. The green looks perfect. It's not too sparkly, but just highlights that little section. So if you find that color, you could start with that, and then okay, that's next to this color, and so on. So you could easily do the puzzle. Now some of these are kind of okay. They're a little kind of mixed together. But if you start with some of the bigger ones, you'll get part of the puzzle done. But it's a painting, so that's about it. This painting was a lot of fun, so it was fun to share it with you. And hopefully it brightened your day a little bit. And we'll go on to the next one. So thank you, and you have a good day.